All right, have you guys ever driven past a motorcycle dealer and wondered what's going on inside of there? Maybe you're a little shy, maybe you don't know what you're looking for. Well, today I am here at Ducati Cleveland. This is a luxury motorcycle dealer, and so today I'm going to be giving you guys a little bit of a tour. I have exclusive access. I'm going to be showing you what a luxury motorcycle dealer looks like and what goes on behind the scenes. Make sure you stick around to the end. Luckily, it is November in Ohio, and so kind of have the whole showroom to ourselves. Some of the bikes that they have on display in this showroom, we are literally talking about $40,000 plus motorcycles. They have a multi-strada V4 RS, which if you don't know is basically a multi-strada with the same motor from the V4. They have a V2 Bayless edition, a literal race bike, a V4R, just sitting here in the corner. A couple of Supermotos, some of my personal favorites, both colors of Ducati Diavos, with a bonus little Diavel sitting in the corner here. This is the Bentley Diavel. This is a collaboration between Ducati and Bentley, where Bentley threw a bunch of custom parts on a Diavel and called it a day. These are super exclusive numbered bikes. So a big way that a lot of motorcycle dealers make a lot of money is through apparel. He has a lot of custom branded clothing items, a lot of gear items that you can put on. The reason that a lot of motorcycle dealers make money off of this stuff is because it's all stuff that you can add onto the stuff that you're financing, usually, because majority of motorcycles are financed. But what's really cool about this dealership is they have a whole little parts corner right over there tucked back behind that computer. So like most motorcycle dealers, they have a bunch of stuff and parts in stock that represent the brand, like Ducati branded stuff. But if you don't want to pay the extra Ducati tax for a lot of that stuff.
I just wanted to clarify this bit here. The only reason I'm bringing this up is because a lot of people will buy name brand motorcycle stuff like Ducati, Yamaha, Suzuki, just because they can tack on the price of that motorcycle gear onto their financing. When in reality, you can just buy regular motorcycle gear for way cheaper and then tack it onto your financing in the exact same way.
You can actually just straight up buy regular motorcycle gear through their parts corner, which will end up saving you a lot more money in the long run if you don't feel like wearing all red. Like I mentioned, this is the Ducati V4R. This is like their super special souped up version of the regular Ducati V4. Well, this is actually a V4S, and so this has the electronic suspension, a little bit of a different flavor of seat and some forged wheels, while the V4R is a little bit more expensive, but the difference is you get all the stuff that the V4S has minus the electronic suspension, and you instead get, in my opinion, the better set it and forget it suspension. You also get a much higher revving motor with much stronger internals with a dry clutch. And so yeah, it's a little bit more of an upfront cost, but this bike is going to be a lot faster in the long run compared to this bike. If you want a little bit of that V4 flavor without breaking your back and your wrist, because God knows sport bikes are the most uncomfortable thing in the freaking world, they have the Diavel V4s, which is basically a muscle cruiser with a V4 motor slapped in it, or the multi-strada V4 RS, which is literally the same motor that's in the Panigales. It's just with an upright seating position and better wind protection. I don't know, both the upright V4s aren't really my personal flavor. Perhaps maybe I'm just a little bit too young for those bikes just yet, but they are on my list in the future. Lord knows I've talked about this bike a million times on my YouTube channel before. This is of course the Ducati 698. This is, in my opinion, one of the best bikes ever made. I will not elaborate further other than the fact that these things love to wheelie, and they are God's gift given to this earth. Coming back here, it's actually shouldn't be a surprise, I suppose, that a luxury motorcycle dealership also dabbles in selling used non-Ducatis. So of course you have a couple of Ducatis that people traded into likely higher model. You also have other bikes that people bought and then seemingly regretted, like this RS660 that was traded in after 400 miles? 400? I don't remember. Back here you actually have one of my bikes. I originally traded this bike in for my Ducati V4 that I actually ended up crashing. Almost a year later, it's just kind of surprising that one of the bikes that I used to own. It's just weird, kind of like seeing your sibling out in public, still in just perfect immaculate condition, like the way I left it. And of course, what would a used motorcycle section be without the random Harley just sitting here? All these bikes are of course tucked away behind this corner here, away from the main showroom, but I just find it interesting that you can also come here and shop for other kinds of bikes if one catches your eye. And back here is where the magic happens. Whenever a bike breaks or needs warranty service or literally anything that could possibly happen, this is where bikes come to get fixed. All of this is mainly what I wanted to show all of you guys today. This is truly behind the scenes of a luxury motorcycle dealer. Being a motorcycle enthusiast, this literally feels the closest thing that you can get to heaven, because it's not just Ducatis. This right here is my friend's Yamaha R1. He had a bunch of service items done to this bike. I'm pretty sure he had brand new tires, a new chain and sprocket, valves done. Pretty sure every service item that could possibly listed for the R1 was done. And the nice thing is it was done professionally. I know that my buddy rides his bikes extremely hard, and so it's nice to have the peace of mind, even if it does cost more than working on your bike yourself. These guys are literally paid to do this all day, every single day. And so my friend, myself, and pretty much everybody else I know trust this dealer enough to get their bikes professionally done, to go racing. I say that with quotes because, you know, it's your motorcycle. You're gonna do what you want with it. This is actually my MT-07, but something like an MT-07, this is a bike that you may be more inclined to work on yourself. It's a bike with only a top speed of 120 miles an hour, has really bouncy suspension that is really harsh in the corners, and so you can't really ride this bike too hard anyway. I feel incredibly comfortable working on this bike myself. Meanwhile, something like my H2 over here, I may be a little bit less inclined to work on this bike myself. Something like an oil change, that's something that's relatively self-explanatory, and I've actually done that myself on this bike. It's not terribly difficult at all. But with the addition of things like the supercharger and the braking system, things can get complex very quickly. This is Jason. He is currently working on someone traded in a Ducati V4R, similar to the one that we were just looking at up front. What they're doing before this bike goes on the sales floor is making sure they're checking for any leaks, converting this bike mainly back to stock because there were a few parts that the dealer didn't want on there before they put it out on the floor. And since the V4R tends to be a little bit more sensitive than the base V4s, there's a lot of checks that go involved into this, which is why the bike has been torn down as much as it has been. What if I told you that there were even more bikes just laying around this dealership? This is usually where they keep a lot of their demo bikes, like this Ducati 698. You can literally come to this dealer and test ride this bike for free if you want to. That's not the only demo bike that they have here. They have literally one of pretty much every single model that you can buy to this day. And I'm pretty sure as of recording this video next week, this dealer is already getting a 2025 V4 in stock for people to be able to test ride in the spring. And so that has been my tour of a luxury motorcycle dealership here in Ohio. Obviously, there's a lot of similarities with a regular motorcycle dealership that you guys can check out literally anywhere else in the world. But I know I've filmed literally a million videos here. This dealership does a lot of things different, and they do so in a very clean and time-efficient manner. And time again, they've been willing to help me out. I first bought a 2021 used Panigale V2 from these guys a couple years ago. And I just remember when that bike was out of warranty and I had a problem on that bike, even though it was completely out of warranty, this dealership was still willing to goodwill that problem, and I think it ended up saving me like over $3,000. And that's just one example. Whenever I get my bike serviced here, they are literally the quickest in the game to get things done and turned around. And so yeah, this video wasn't sponsored. I just really appreciate that what these guys do. And perhaps maybe by watching this video, you guys can point out something that you may not see at a regular motorcycle dealership. You could point something out or maybe see something different to how this dealership does things differently to the one that you regular at. It doesn't help, I'm also a little bit of a Ducati fanboy. I really want that V4R. I don't have the room for it. That sucks. I want that V4R so freaking bad, dude. I don't know. I have to figure out a way to how to get it, but I don't even know if I'd ride it. That bike's like $40,000, $50,000, and I'm like, I don't know, man. What do you think I should do to be able to afford this V4R? I mean, it's here. It's been sitting here. I really want it. What do you think I should do to be able to afford this V4R? Redlines at 16,500 RPM, which is 2,000 above what this bike redlines at. Special suspension and special paint that's exclusive to this bike only. Carbon fiber bits. I don't know. I geek over these things. It's similar, but just different enough that it feels like it reminds me of my old V4 that I crashed over this summer, while also being different enough that I'm not just running out and buying the exact same bike that I already owned, which I would hate doing that because I hate buying the exact same bike that I owned before. I don't know, man. I really freaking dig this bike. Did I also forget to mention that it's numbered, by the way? I don't know. I don't know if that matters, but it has a pit lane limiter. I am at a constant conflict in my own mind if I should buy this or not. It is a lot of money for one bike, but at the same time, you only live once, right?